Well, what if I told you and the masses that, and I stated this and I stand by it, as much as I'm excited about that time when it comes and it reveals itself, the deadline, when you come back from Hawaii and you take on this task, which is the 2024-2025 NBA season, and you have a cloud, Steiny, over your heads about it's us against the world, shout out Tupac, but it's really not, Steiny. If everybody knows to a man, well, we know Draymond's going to be here. We know Curry's going to be here. But if I know that there could be a break in regard to Wiggins, Kuminga, I don't know how strong, I guess I'm looking for the word, that bond can be, knowing that there's a major there could be major change. So how can you really truly be whole knowing come trade deadline, one of us may be out of here?
All right, I hear you.
Can you still win that way?
I hear you. I think a lot of teams go into a season like that, thinking they may have to try to upgrade their roster during the season. I don't think they're looking to get, well, I don't know. I don't know what they're looking to move or looking not to move. But this from the 415 on the Comcast business text line. Steiny, why'd the Warriors say Kuminga was absolutely off the table for trades if they don't want to pay him?
We don't know that.
I didn't say they didn't want to pay him. I'm saying they don't have to pay him between now and October 21st. They don't have to. And if they don't, it means next year he'll be a restricted free agent. And the Warriors will still have his rights. But I just... Yeah, and I kind of brought up Luciano in a tongue-in-cheek way to you before the show, saying, well, we're all talking about Luciano doesn't have a position. How did they not know that? Okay, well, neither does Jonathan Kuminga, and he's entering his fourth season.
But listen to this real quick, Steiny.
Yeah.
We're going to play the Kuminga sound, and I'm not even mad at Kuminga, but when he talks about what him and what's on the horizon and what he thinks he can do and can't do, there were not a lot of can'ts. He feels like he can do it all.
Well, he can't, though.
And
he knows that deep down.
Okay, deep down.
He's got to.
His microphone game yesterday was kind of like, you could put me anywhere and I'll be fine. And I'm like, no, JK, listen to what your teammates and your coaches are saying. It's kind of been that way. But, I don't know if he knows it's as urgent as he thinks that the team thinks it is about him finding a position. He's saying you can put me anywhere and I'll be fine.
Right,
I'm JK. But I want to tell him, JK, it's not that anymore.
Well, I think...
Just listen.
I mean, what it sounds to me like is the Warriors' fundamental dilemma is that Kuminga's not good enough and not versatile enough to be a small forward on offense. But Draymond Green's saying you can't just stick him at 4 because defensively there's a skill set that's needed at that position that right now Kuminga doesn't have. And so, I'm just looking, first of all, I'll just throw it out, 888-957-9570. This is one of those things where you could look at it as, this is a good problem to have. You got two guys one guy's a veteran in Wiggins, one guy's a young and up-and-comer like Kuminga. It's like, okay, that's what big boy franchises have to do. They got to figure out which one stays and which one goes. But I do think the long-term... Well, I do think one of the goals of the Warriors is to move either Wiggins or Kuminga because Steve Kerr doesn't think they can play together.
Oh, man.
I mean, certainly they can play together, but they don't complement each other at all. And so even when this lineup that you threw out there, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Curry, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, Trace Jackson Davis.
Man.
Oh, man, what?
I think that could win you some games.
Well, you have no playmakers at 2 or 3. So you have two guys in Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga who are going to play 2 and 3, but they're kind of the same player. I just, they don't...
Athleticism through the roof, and I know it's just not a jumping contest, but Steiny, and we don't know what Wiggins worked on this offseason, but I just don't put him in that category of, when you say playmaker, is he Kyrie Irving? No, but to be able to kind of fiddle-faddle with the ball and draw the defense to you.
Yeah, they can't do that.
Well,
I don't think they can do that. I know. It is a problem.
So what did J.K. work? I'm just asking, and we hadn't seen it yet, but what did he work on
I'm
this
sure
summer?
he worked on his three-point shooting and his ball handling. I mean, that's what Steve Kerr told him to work on.
Let me read this to you real quick from the Comcast Business text line. 650, wait a second. The Warriors' mantra is interchangeable parts. Guard 1 through 5, play 2 through 4. So why is having duplicate skill set the problem? And that's why I talk about Kuminga and Wiggins. Like, I want them on the court together.
Okay, both are below average passers. Both are below average rebounders. They just are for their position. Both of those guys tend to get their points on their own. And, like, I don't see either of them benefiting Steph Curry. That's just me. But 888-957-9570. It's hoop season, ladies and gentlemen. And the Golden State Warriors have a very interesting team as far as I'm concerned. I think they're way deeper than last year. I think they got 9 or 10 guys who are legitimate NBA players. But a strong bench doesn't win you an NBA championship.
Right.
It can help, but it's not going to win you a title. So what do you do if you're the Warriors with Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins? Or do you just shoehorn them and ask them to play together and hope that they find something? I just think it's going to be interesting to watch how it all unfolds, because then there's a guy sitting in the wings, Kyle Anderson, who is versatile and can play multiple positions, and he would seem to me to be the kind of guy that Steve Kerr is really going to like. And so I just know kind of how Kerr is. He's going to rely on the guys that he trusts. And I can't see him not trusting Kyle Anderson.
I get it.
So how do we figure this out?
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, the $1 million question is the answer. How many wins is in that answer?
It's a good question. 888-957-9570 is the number. Once again, Warriors, they start their season Saturday against the Clippers in Hawaii. And the 650 on the Comcast Business text line says, what about Moody? Exactly. They do not have enough spots for players available. They've got to figure something out, because they're going to have legitimate players who aren't playing at all.
So that's a bad thing.
But then I just think it's set up for a 2-for-1 deal or a 3-for-2 deal or something like that. But I'd love to know what Warriors feel like, Warrior fans feel like. And let's start it out with one of our guys, Murillo in Petaluma.
Oh, man.
What's up, Murillo? How you doing?
Good morning, guys. Good to be the first. Everything is well. And before my take, thank you. Thank you for putting the whole Draymond take out there, and not just a cut like the Morning Rose did, which made Draymond sound like something totally different.
Oh,
those are our guys, Murillo.
Yep. No, yeah. I love them. I love them. They're I love listening to them too. I'm not throwing shade. Guru, listen to the coach and to your leader. They're telling you what you should know about Kuminga. Kuminga is not primed to get paid.
Wow.
And it's about the timeline of his whole career. He needs to fit in here. And I love the acquisitions because these guys are able to do that. Kyle Anderson can play the 4. I'm super excited for this team. I think it's addition by subtraction. And I'm with you, Steiny. There might be a 2-for-1 deal coming, because I'm sorry. He seems like a guy who we don't know if we can trust Kuminga to say, hey, I'm going to bet on myself and play the season. I prove that I can do what I think. I don't think he can play a starting role yet. And that lineup with him and Wiggins, oh, my God, Brick City. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Wow. Murillo, you hurt me with that one. Well, not yet, Murillo, not yet. But Steiny, again, just real quick, I know we're up against it.
Oh, yeah, we are. Wow.
Kuminga doesn't think he cannot play the 3. That's a fundamental problem. That's what my ear, like everything else, all the points everybody making valid. But when the guy or the subject matter at hand is telling you it's no big deal, he feels like he can handle it. That has me scared that he's not, or looked in the mirror and said, you know what, I'm going to spend this off season so I can work on things or skills that can have me being an option at the 3.
Yeah, and I'm also looking at real quick, let's say they start Curry. Let's just say, for the sake of it, Podziemski starts at 2, and they go Curry, Podziemski, Wiggins, Green, and Trace Jackson Davis. So that under that scenario, Kuminga comes off the bench. But I'm looking at Melton, Anderson, Heald, Moody, Payton.
Wow.
There's no way they can play. There's no way all those guys are going to be able to play, at least if they're healthy.